Hey everyone, Jim here. Well, I just saw The Mule. That would be the latest movie starring and directed by Clint Eastwood. And I really want to give Clint Eastwood some credit that he's still able to both star, produce, and direct a major movie when the guy is pushing 90 years old. He's an immensely talented fellow, and he's in damn good shape for a man his age. He really takes care of himself incredibly well. And I was really looking forward to this movie just because I've been a fan of a lot of Clint Eastwood's previous work. Some where he's only behind the camera, some in front, and I've generally found his movies to be mostly very positive. Probably his best would be Million Dollar Baby, and Gran Torino was one I really liked as well, and Gran Torino would probably be one that was the most similar to this movie. Matter of fact, there's a lot of character arcs that are very similar across. Both kind of deal with old man syndrome. Even though that movie was produced 10 years ago, he was still a very old fellow even back then. And kind of adapting to the modern world, as a lot of senior citizens don't really seem to adapt to a changing world or changing technology, what have you. And that's an important theme in this movie. You'll see him yelling at younger people, "Stop using your cell phones so much." But it doesn't really add up to that much. And there's also an arc in both movies about how he's estranged from his kids for various reasons, and he kind of tries to come back into their life. The real problem with this movie is the characterization of this character, and supposedly this is based on a true story, and I don't really know exactly how close to the real account this movie really is. Nothing about it really stands out as impossible or obvious Hollywood revisionism, but who the hell knows, because I haven't really looked into the real account. Problem with it is the character he plays, named Earl, there's no real consistency to him. And not in a real cool way in a really well-written movie where there's multiple different facets to his character, where you don't know what aspect of him will play most in the situation, but more like the writers just didn't know what to do with him. At the beginning of the movie, you kind of see the way he treats his family, and you kind of get a feeling that, I guess Clint Eastwood's playing a guy who's kind of a scumbag, which is interesting, and I really was kind of hoping he'd stick with that and be a really unlikable character throughout this whole movie. The problem is it doesn't stick to that, and it tries to do a redemptive arc later where he tries to redeem himself with his family, but none of it felt natural. It really just kind of feels like it comes out of nowhere. And there's other aspects to it. Sometimes he seems like a moron. There's this one scene that is really weird, and I have no idea why it's even in the movie. Keeping with the movie's title, he does all these drug runs. They recruit a guy who's near 90 for some reason to do drug runs. Guess because he had a good driving record. Odd, but I've never been in part of that criminal underworld, so who knows how accurate that is. And he stops to help this family who have a flat tire, but he only does, in doing so, puts his life at risk and the job at risk. He doesn't seem to really comprehend his situation a lot of the time. The fact that the people he's working with are often very mentally unstable and often willing to kill him. He should know logically that the Mexican drug cartel would be pretty dangerous guys. You think he would understand that fact, but he seems oblivious to that fact in a really delusional way at times. And he stops and helps this couple with the flat tire, but he also racially insults them a little bit because they're a black couple, and I guess he has some racist feelings. Okay, so you're willing to put your life at risk to help them out, do a nice thing for them, but you're also going to insult them for absolutely no reason. See what I mean? These are actions that don't fit together. This is a character that doesn't make sense most of the time. Not just that he's not good or he's conflicted, it just seems oddly random things. And Clint Eastwood really does give it his all with the performance. He wasn't the writer of this movie, and I feel like the problems with this movie are in the writing, not in the directing. Ultimately, this movie kind of feels a little bit shallow at the end of it. I certainly didn't dislike this movie. I walked out thinking, it's okay. Some decent ones. You got Bradley Cooper in it. He kind of plays a more minor role. He doesn't really do much, but he's perfectly fine in the part. A lot of the more criminal characters in the Mexican drug cartel are very interesting. I kind of wish the movie had focused more on them and less on Clint Eastwood's Earl, because they seemed a lot more interesting. And in the end, it also kind of ends on a very anticlimactic note, like it was building towards something that it never really pays off on. So I kind of walked out feeling very meh about this movie, thinking that was okay. So I mean, it's not a terrible movie or anything like that. It's fine, perfectly decent in every way, but given Clint Eastwood's very strong works in the past, I couldn't help but walk out just a bit disappointed with him this time, because it was far from his strongest work. As the year's winding down to a close, there's a lot of big movies coming out in the next few weeks. Don't know if I'll be able to see them all. Probably not, but it looks like some fun stuff. And I'll probably see y'all later. Jim here, signing out.